All right, Jeff again here, 3320 Southwest Shoals Ferry Road. So we're doing right now, we're going to do a pullback. We're 160 feet out. We're coming up on a spot here where the line is, there's a bunch of buildup in here. My concern right now is that we may have some kind of offset joint. It's concerning, especially at these distances at 160 feet, right? I already don't have very much shoving or leverage power here. But where I'm located right now, I've marked with a big white X marking. It's at the very bottom of the driveway. And interestingly enough, it's right where there's a hole. You can tell someone has driven over this spot over and over and over and over again. It's only 3'4" deep here. And it's this settling issue here starts right where all those tire marks are. Now, if you get a relatively shallow line that's not bedded very well, and you've got traffic going over the same location for decades on end, my concern is that you've got some kind of settled spot here. It may very well just be a belly. It might also be an offset joint. And that's my concern, is shoving into this thing blind with all the buildup that's in here. I just can't see what I'm getting into. So from that standpoint, it's a little risky to try and shove into this spot right now. If I were to meet any resistance at this distance out, I'm stuck and not able to do much. So what I'd ideally like to see done here is the line jetted, run a drain cleaner through to blow all this debris out of the way so that when the camera goes back through, you can actually see what you're getting into. Right now, assuming we're in Multnomah County, we're sitting about 8 feet shy of the street edge where the city would end up taking responsibility for the sewer line. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that one. That one's just feeling a bit risky there to go shoving into it, especially considering we have all the tire marks over this spot. After 25,000 scopes, it would not be the first time I've seen where continuous weight over the top of a line has caused a line to, either belly out or offset. You get a joint that's become offset or something like that. And I don't want to go shoving blindly into it. If it's something that's starting to close off, my camera can get stuck in there. But you've got buildup that goes all the way toward the top of the pipe that it obstructs my view here. So in order to safely navigate past that point, unless I had an excavator out here ready to dig a hole, I'd recommend jetting the line out to clear this debris out, and then running the camera back through to see if you can see what's going on here. If it were to be something like just a belly, for instance, at the distance that is from the home, 160 feet down a hillside, a belly is going to struggle to cause problems. Now, if you've got hard obstructions in there, standing water and roots or an offset joint or something of that nature, that's a little bit different story. So the plus side is if repairs are needed here, I can't see under some of the dirt that's there if there's asphalt underneath it. But it's a very shallow line at that point, only 3.5 feet deep. And it's for that reason, too, it's even more likely you could have some kind of more severe settling spot there than just a simple belly. Shallow sewer lines are more prone to settling issues due to excessive weight over the top of them or repeatedly having weight go over the top of them. All right, we just reeled all the way back in. All the pipe prior to 160 feet has good slope and grade, is clean. I mean, there's essentially no buildup whatsoever anywhere in the sewer line up until you hit 160 feet. All the cast iron pipe prior to that point all appears to be in very fair condition for its age and has good flow. That spot down there at about 160 feet, just given the circumstances here, as much time as I've been doing this kind of stuff, my assumption, you've at very least probably got a belly there. If there's some kind of transition joint not too far beyond that to concrete pipe, you could also have, potentially some kind of root intrusion or something, but with all the tire marks directly over that spot, my guess is it's probably at minimum a belly. You could have an offset or something of that nature. So I'd like to see the line jetted out through there and cleaned out to get a nice clear shot through there to see what we're getting into. If all said and done, if what you're left over with is just a belly, as long as the pipe there is intact, nothing's opened up to the ground or anything like that, at those distances, not a huge concern as far as flow issues go, just because of the hillside you have here working at your advantage. But if there is any bad joints in there or anything like that, that's going to lead to progressive settling, root intrusions, things like that, that becomes more of just a matter of time before something occurs. Hard obstructions are a much different animal versus just standing water at those distances. So everything prior to that, though, is looking good, has great flow. Up to that point, we've got some question marks there. Again, that spot where I stopped, my X marking is probably about 6 inches prior to where the standing water begins, about 3 foot 4 inches deep. That's marked with a big white X. As you face into the property from the street, that's just on the left side of the driveway, right at the base of the hill.